I'm going to teach you how to hit your driver longer. This simple idea around one movement will teach you how to hit the driver correctly, how to get that effortless speed that you see from your friends. You know, the better players, they stand there and hit it and it goes and you think, hang on, I should hit it that far. So you stand there and you swing harder and it doesn't go further, if anything it goes shorter or more offline, and it drives you mad. This one common pattern will transform how you hit your driver to get effortless power that you want. So next time you're on the course, you'll also look like you're just breezing into a long drive and people you play with will go, how have you done that? Show them this video. Before we get into today's video, if you're new here, consider subscribing. I release videos like this every week to help you play better golf. This is the number here. This is the killer blow. This 11 degrees from a tour pro to near 8 degrees with an average amateur is just rampant among amateur golfers. And I'm going to show you how to change that and why it's important to change how your hips are tilting when you hit the ball if you want to hit the driver longer. So what does that do? Your effortless power is coming from golfers, believe it or not, often swinging at the same speed. So their club head speeds are the same. And what's actually changing is the efficiency of how they deliver that speed to the ball. And the shorter driver who tries to hit the ball harder is just doing it less efficient, meaning they try and pull harder but nothing comes out, where the effortless power is coming from these good angles being delivered and then maxing out what they put in. So if I hit my stock drive here, not a bad hit, little bit cutty off to the right, but I've swung at 112 miles an hour. I've got an attack angle of +4, meaning my club was coming up 4 degrees as it hit the ball. So at the same head speed, I'm losing around 10 yards. 10 yards, just losing it. And to be honest with you, hitting down like that, the second swing, took more energy to get the same speed. So for me to get the same head speed with the club, I had to feel like I was hitting it harder on the second one while hitting down, because I weren't using the angles and of the club and the pressures in the ground to generate that effortless power. So I changed the angle of attack. I had very different hip tilts on the two swings. One was relating more to what we saw from the amateur, my first one more from the better player. That changed club path, it changed total distance, and it also changed how much energy I had to put in to make them equal, which is why you push harder, doesn't still go any further than you expect it should. So you could almost put less energy in feeling and get more out of it. The idea of almost swinging slower to then hit it further. And this is how you're going to do it. We need to understand hip tilt. So as you turn your hips in the backswing, not only do you rotate, so if I rotate level, where I keep this club level, that's not what you see in backswings. You've got to remember we're slightly tilted forward, so we see people tilt and turn. This end, so my lead pocket, goes lower than this end. So this pocket's going up, this pocket's going down as I rotate. So we have turns and we have tilts, and we need to use that tilt. Remember, the impact position of the good player at impact was around 11, 12 degrees tilted now this way, where the amateur was only 7 or 8 degrees tilted this way. So the good player is tilting more, meaning they're getting up through lead leg more. They're getting that club lower earlier to then hit up at that ball, coming from how this pelvis is tilting. So I want you to use this one simple drill to absolutely change your effortless power. And it's a little crazy, but go with me. You're going to warm up this way. You're going to hit shots on the range this way. You will not play this way. I want you with your driver to get the ball position literally just forward of your buttons on your shirt. So it'll be just forward of center. So it's actually much more towards an iron position. It's okay, stay with me. I know that feels crazy. Now the game from here is to try and launch the ball as high as a normal drive. So I've got a launch monitor here. So if I hit a normal drive again, that's me doing my standard drive, little Healy, which is why it's cut, but 112 mile an hour club. I've hit 3 up at that. It's gone 302 yards in total distance, so good distance. And if we add launch angle in there, it launched at 11.5 degrees. And there's the rubber. That's the killer game. So I'm going to use a visual height if I'm at a range. Here I can use actual measured data to illustrate to you from this centered ball position. What I am going to do is feel like I move into a position where I'm going to hit down at it, but I need to try and get that launch up at 11. So I am going to have to start tilting my hips quick into impact. Feel like my upper body is backing up. Feel like my lead leg is straightening and hips are almost slightly backing up as they rotate. This will add the extra tilt you need to try and get that ball launching. Now I can see visually they're around the same height. I did catch that one slightly out the bottom. I was 3 up, 2.8 up, and that one launched at 11.4 degrees, exactly the same. Now there's another benchmark you can use to try and increase this angle and understand this angle, which we'll come to. It's really key that you understand this other metric, which I'll show you in a downswing a bit more. Remember, if you're liking the tips here, to subscribe, hit that like button as well to show me that you want more tips like this. So I'm gonna do it again. That ball position, middle of the stance, just forward of, and I'm still gonna try and get my launch. You can see me actually backing up there. Don't be afraid by the word backing up. It's something we see time and time again from good players. Then I'm going to bleed that into a regular shot to see if I can get those same feelings working in. That one went a little bit higher. I was 5 up at that. So even that's increased my how far up I'm hitting at the ball for me. Now, before we share this killer metric, just remember with this drill, if you're not very good at getting the launch from the ball nearer the middle, then get really funky with it. So with a student, I would start from just left, so target side of the buttons to see if they can do it. If they can't achieve it, ask them to even move it back. So now I've got the ball just back behind my buttons and get them to really feel like they're trying to launch it up, really get the back arc in, try and feel like they're getting up. Just anything you can. Remember, this is a warm-up drill. You're using this at the range. These shots can be wasted. They're not trying to hit great shots. You're just trying to get the feeling of being across, which that ball position already does, with this backing up and tilting into impact to get those hips working for max distance. Now, here's the rub that lots of people get mixed up with, which encourages maybe a race too quick out of the kind of blocks where they tilt the hips too much, and then we see the club dropping down and they roll the release so the people kind of hook it. And then like this player, we see the people who just stay in lead side for too long, keep this kind of tilt, don't add enough into impact. Really good benchmark, but rule of thumb, which you can practice at home, is you want to try and feel that your pelvis gets back to 0 in tilt. So tilted, back to 0. When your hands get below your shoulders, kind of middle of your chest range, that's where we see good players hitting 0 with their pelvis. So if you're someone who gets your hands down towards the middle of your body, but you feel like you're really tilting already, then you're going to have to stay in that side for a bit longer to get out. And if you're the most common one, which is someone who wants to go this way, and you feel like you're still in that tilt, or you get down to level with your hands kind of down here, so you feel like your pelvis is level down here, you're going to be the one who needs to get in and out way, way quicker. An easy way of doing that is just in front of a reflection. Just look at your pelvis, your belt, your waistline, and feel like you're trying to get it level around hands, middle of your body, so just below shoulders and just above your belly button. And that's a great rule of thumb for allowing you to get the feeling of these tilts ready to pull out, so you're not that way too much or this way too much in transition. And then the final thing I do see is golfers get their setup in such a mess, which encourages really poor tilts on the backswing, so then they can't win the race. So not having a setup with your driver in a position where you can actually start to make these movements and employ this angle of attack for extra distance is what really damages so many golfers, and that's why I made this video to help you improve your setup. Remember to subscribe if you like these videos and watch that one. With this one, they're going to help you bomb it.